Aquaba, welcome to You Ain't Imagining This, the storytelling sanctuary where we name the chaos of living Black in predominantly white spaces, and where we remember that you don't have to carry it alone. This is your friend, your sister, your host, Alma Robin, and I'm so glad that we're back together again today. Each month, every month, at You Ain't Imagining This, we explore a theme that speaks to the truth of our lives and to the wisdom of our community. This month, our theme is coping. The survival strategies that we've been forced to use and the costs that have come with them. Last month, we began talking about coping, and so many of you contacted me about it. You told me how it really resonated when we named high effort coping, the way that our hard work crosses the line into survival mode in a system that was designed to oppress us. Hard work has always been a part of our story as Black people, but what happens when it starts to strip away at our health, our well-being, and our joy? That's why this month at Yatetown, we're looking more closely at coping, how to recognize it, and how to release the parts of it that cost us too much. Now, today's specific episode is about the coping tax. That extra price we pay in our bodies, our spirits, and our time just for the right to be in the room, or to exist, or simply to live. We're going to sit with Mrs. Alberta Jenkins, a retired teacher and a beloved elder in our Yatetown community. From her front porch, she will share what the coping tax is, how it shows up, and how she's learned to shake a little of it off. Before we meet with Mrs. Jenkins, I do just want to say that I hope today gives you at least one small moment to breathe. And if it hasn't already, maybe this can be your moment now. Or maybe perhaps you'll have 2 moments tomorrow. And speaking of 2 things, I have only 2 requests from you. Number 1, come as you are. And number 2, take what you need. So, there's Mrs. Jenkins, sitting on her front porch. Let's go see her. Hey, Mrs. Jenkins. Hey, baby. Come sit here with me a while. You look like your shoulders are tied up in knots, tight as a rope. Looks like you had a hard day. This right here, this looks like you've been paying the coping tax. I look at her like I don't understand. I've heard of taxes, but not the coping tax. The teacher and Mrs. Jenkins can see that I don't understand, and it kicks right in. The coping tax is the price we pay just to move through this world as Black folks. And let me tell you, it's never cheap. It's the deep breath before we walk into that meeting. It's the smile you put on when you don't feel like smiling. It's checking your words 3 times so nobody calls you angry. None of that is free. Every little thing costs something. And by the time the day is done, your body knows exactly how much you've paid. Some folks call it high effort coping. You know it well. Dragging yourself into work sick because you know that missing a day means being labeled as lazy. Working twice as hard, staying twice as long, just to get half the credit. Laughing at jokes that cut deep because you can't risk being seen as bitter. Holding your tongue while somebody less qualified gets the praise. That's all the coping tax, baby. That's the overpayment that this world demands from us just for the right to be in the room. Back when I was teaching, I'd come home bone tired, not just from the lesson plans or the grading, but from carrying all that proving and protecting and worrying. Some days I felt like the coping tax was higher than my paycheck. And the trick of it is, we think we're getting something out of paying it. We think that if we just swallow our words, or hustle harder, or keep the peace, we'll be rewarded. But that's an illusion. It just ain't true. What we're really paying with is our mental health, our physical health, our peace of mind. We're paying with the family time missed, the self-confidence chipped away, with the rest that we never get back. We're paying with pieces of ourselves we don't even notice slipping away until the bill becomes due. And here's the thing. That tax never really goes away. It never gets paid in full. But I learned something. This is what I learned, and I'm going to share this with you. If you don't name it, it will eat you alive. If you don't find a way to shake it off, it piles up. And I wasn't about to let it bury me. So I made myself a little ritual. I'd sit right here on this porch. I'd roll my shoulders back, and I would hum a line from a song my grandmother used to sing. Nothing fancy, just that hum loosened something in me. It reminded me I'm more than what the day took out of me. Sometimes I'd shake my arms out, sometimes I'd sing the whole verse, but always, 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 I would give myself that little moment to breathe. Now, I'm not saying the coping tax disappears. Taxes never go away. But you can learn to notice it, to name it, and to let a little of it slide off your shoulders before you go to bed. That way, you don't have to carry it all inside. And this porch, well, it means something too. Out here, the air is lighter. Out here, I can take the weight off without the world watching me. The porch is where I exhale, where I trade stories with friends, pass around lemonade, laugh when I can, and sigh when that's what I need to do. The porch is proof that even if the tax is high out there, well, in here, I've still got a space that belongs to me. A space where I don't have to pay to breathe. Asante Sana. Thank you, Mrs. Jenkins. Once a teacher, always a teacher, and this is why we all love her. Now, let's go beyond the story. Mrs. Jenkins just named something we all know in our bones: the coping tax. The price we pay for showing up in a world that's constantly measuring, questioning, and underestimating us. And like she said, that tax isn't just mental, it lives in our bodies. It shows up in tight shoulders, the heavy sighs, the exhaustion that feels deeper than sleep. It's the extra burden we carry for simply being Black in spaces that weren't built for us. No matter what the laws, the Constitution, or even the Declaration of Independence say about all people being created equal, I know this coping tax story personally. I've always been what you call a high effort coper. I'm not sure that's a real word. Is it? I don't know, but it does fit. A high effort coper. I didn't know, actually, that there was another way to be. Not as a black girl, teen, student, and woman who just wanted to be successful and educated and respected. My parents always told me that this is what you do, and I saw them live it. They did it, so there was no other way for me. It was different for my white friends, but for me, this was the only path. I wanted to go to a good college, so even as a young child, I studied hard. In college, I nearly triple majored. 2 really strong majors, 1 almost third major, and I pushed myself into honors programs. I volunteered for extra assignments. I worked very, very hard. And I did the same in law school and in my career as a lawyer and beyond. And I achieved a lot. But it cost me a lot too. I developed health problems. Some of you know that I live with the really difficult migraines, sometimes lasting for a week, usually longer. And why was I doing all of this? Because I didn't know how not to do it. I didn't know that this was the coping tax. This was what epidemiologist Dr. Sherman James called high effort coping. I didn't know the damage it would cause. I didn't realize that I was pushing not within the system, but against the system. Because that system was designed to keep me in a certain place, to push me into illness while I chased the so-called dream. I thought this was normal in the quest for success. As I said, I saw my parents do it, and yes, I saw that it affected their health and our family. But it was what we had to do, right? Well, I learned that that's wrong. At least not without awareness, not without knowing that this was high effort coping inside of a racist system. And honestly, I didn't understand this until I met Dr. Sherman James. And then it was like, really, a light went on. I read the story of John Henry, the formerly enslaved black man who beat the steam engine drilling through a mountain. This is not a legend. This is a real story. He was a real person. And what happened after he drilled through the mountain and beat the machine? He dropped dead. Yes, he dropped dead. And that story is real. And it's also a metaphor for us to learn from. John Henry's victory cost him his life. For me, the cost has been migraines and chronic anxiety. For others, it's heart disease, high blood pressure, depression, insomnia, even early death. Awareness was my first step towards reclaiming my power and my health. But I'm going to confess, because I'm always keeping it real with you, this is a continuing journey for me. This is not a one and done at all. It is something I work on every day. What helps is that I'm not alone. I have people, friends, family, community, who support me and whom I support. I fall back on my community, on my ancestors, on my culture. I rest. I heal myself through music, through meditation and movement, through cooking, through feel-good activities. Like for me, it's puzzles and coloring. I know I have odd habits, but okay, everyone's different. And those feel good to me. Through doing Tai Chi and dance. And I always remind myself of my purpose. I remember, you know, I'm working in a system that was never built for me to succeed. Actually, probably not to survive. It's racist and oppressive. I cannot look to the system to help me to live the dream. And I also won't let it deprive me of my right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's right. So I say asante sana. Thank you to Mrs. Alberta Jenkins. Now, she's a fictional person, but I know real people just like her. I think we all do, right? And Dr. Sherman James, scholar and researcher who is working to uplift Black lives. And to all the elders like them who remind me that I am enough, and who remind me that the coping tax has consequences, and who remind all of us that naming it is the first step towards setting it down. They also named something a little bit trickier, the illusion. We're told that if we pay the coping tax faithfully, if we work twice as hard and we stay twice as long and we smile when it hurts or we swallow the anger that's burning inside, that eventually we will be rewarded. That if we just keep quiet or keep hustling, something good will come back to us. You know, that pie in the sky thing. But it rarely does. What we're really giving away is our mental and physical health, our peace of mind, our family time, our confidence, and our rest. That's the real cost of this tax, and it's a cost that is far too high. And this is why Mrs. Jenkins' ritual matters so much. You know, just something simple really, rolling her shoulders, humming a line from an old hymn or song. That's more than just relaxation. It's a liberation practice. It's a way of saying that I will not let the world take all of me today. By the way, I'm just going to say as an aside, because I've always loved humming too, and I do find it comforting. Humming has proven benefits to activate the vagus nerve, and this helps to improve mental and physical health, cardiovascular health, and it even reduces anxiety and depression. Actually, humming is powerful. You know, don't be shy. Give it a try. And notice where Mrs. Jenkins does the humming, does her ritual. On the porch. The front porch has always been more than just a front step for us. It's the breathing space between the world and the home. It's where we can shake off the burden before we walk inside. It's where stories are told and children are watched and laughter is shared and sighs are released into the evening air. The porch is a sanctuary in plain sight. Our coping space, our gathering place, our reminder that not all of life belongs to the chaos out there. Some of it belongs to us, right here. So, maybe today, after you finish this episode, or whenever it's comfortable for you, you might try what Mrs. Jenkins showed us. Roll your shoulders, hum a line from a song, or find your own small ritual that helps the coping tax slide off, even for just a little while. By the way, I'd be very interested to hear what kind of ritual you do or you've developed that helps with this coping tax. Because coping is survival, but survival is not the end of our story. It's just the beginning. I am so happy that we're all here together today at You Ain't Imagining This. You know, as a small gift, I have a little spoiler for you about what's next for You Ain't Imagining This. You might have noticed something today. Mrs. Jenkins was speaking from her front porch. In the weeks ahead, You'll hear me mention other places in Yatetown, the community garden, the bookstore, the cafe, and some other places. These are not just passing locations. They're part of a space I've been creating for us called Yatetown. That you ain't imagining this town. Think of this as a sanctuary town, a place where our stories live, where our coping practices breathe, and where we can lay some of our burdens down together. Now, Yatetown isn't fully constructed and open yet. These things take time, but we will step inside officially in October. Nope, not too far off. But you can hear me drop some hints like little doorways opening to help you find your way there. So when you hear about the front porch or the bookstore or the cafe or the other places mentioned, know that you're already strolling the streets of Yatetown and that you're already a welcome part of it. I think it's time to wind this episode down. Just a reminder to recap, the coping tax is real. It costs us every day, but we can name it, we can share it, and we can create rituals that remind us that we're more than what the day tries to take from us. Coping is survival, but survival is not the end of our story. Remember that you never have to carry it alone, and you ain't imagining this. I'm Amma Robin. I'm so happy that we were here together today. Asante Sana for being in the building and in Yatetown with me today. I will see you next time. Ashe, fam.